What's good, guys? Back with another video today. We're talking biceps and triceps. I'm gonna take you guys through 4 exercises that I did earlier today that were included in my arm workout, and I'm gonna tell you why I like them and why you guys should be doing them at home or in the gym.
47 shots.
Now, the reason I like these exercises, guys, is because you can do them at home. I know with the current state of the world and everything going on, it's good to have some exercises that are a dual threat where you can do them in the gym or at home. So that is why I picked these 4 particular exercises, because I've done them in my own home gym and I've also done them in my personal gym, in my training studio. And so the first one, guys, we're gonna target the tricep, particularly the tricep long head. So we're not just gonna work the traditional tricep muscles, the medial and the other heads. We're also gonna target that long head, which is on the inside of the arm, and that becomes most involved whenever we go into shoulder extension and shoulder flexion. So as you guys can see in this clip, I have 2 handles at the bottom of the cable. Why I have those 2 handles, not just one, or I don't have a straight metal bar, is because when you use a metal bar or one handle for a tricep push down or a pull down, you can't get into that full shoulder extension position. And you can almost not fully extend your elbow depending upon your hip position. As you guys can see in this video, in the clip, my hips are back. I'm in a slight hip hinge, a little bit of hip flexion. One, because I like to engage my core and my glutes, so this kind of reminds me to do that and kind of, automatically put some weight into my glutes and my core. And also I'm lining my arm up more with the cable. So then also as I'm pulling down, I'm able to pull the handles apart, get my arms into full extension, my elbows into full extension, and also get a little bit of shoulder extension, which, as I said before, is gonna fully engage your tricep muscles and also get that long head, which is a little bit trickier to get involved in the exercise. So when you guys do this one at home, what you can do is swap out the cable for a band. You can hang that band from a hook, from the top of your door, whatever you guys can do to finagle it to make it work. You guys can do this at home with a band. And that's why I like this exercise, because as much as I love my cable machine, again, I have done it at home with a band, a resistance band, usually a heavier band, and you guys can modify the weight if you want to grab the band higher up or a little bit lower down. Whatever you guys feel comfortable with doing. The resistance band is also great because it's also constant tension. As you're pulling that resistance band, it's gonna start at a little bit lighter tension, but then as you obviously go into extension of your elbows and pull the band apart at the bottom and get that shoulder extension, you're gonna have a higher resistance at the bottom. So guys, that is why I love this first tricep exercise, because we are working that tricep in the shoulder extension position, and we're also able to get full extension of the elbows. And we can do this exercise, like I've mentioned before, in the gym or at home. Now, exercise number 2, we're gonna do a quick pivot and we're gonna go to the bicep muscle. So this next exercise is actually what I call elevated bicep curls. You guys can do this at home with a pair of dumbbells, whatever you guys have for dumbbells. Usually, it depends on your weight and where you're at, but I like to go a little bit closer to the heavier side of things, just because I like to get a good, 10 to 15 to 20 reps on each arm here and just kind of fatigue the bicep and get it as much involved as I can before I move on to a little bit of a lighter bicep exercise. And so with this exercise, guys, what we're doing is we're elevating the elbows at the top. So we're not just supinating our wrist. As you guys know, when you supinate your wrist and your forearm, you're gonna get that bicep involved. We're also elevating the elbows at the top portion of the exercise. Why we're doing that is because we're sending our arm into a little bit of shoulder flexion, and much like the tricep, the bicep is heavily involved in shoulder flexion. The bicep helps bring your arm straight up overhead. So if we're going into that curl, we're not just supinating, which is going to involve that bicep, we're curling, but we're also elevating the elbows at the top and then getting a good concentric squeeze at the top. You guys are really going to fire that bicep muscle and get it fully involved. That elevation of the elbows is gonna get the bicep much more involved than as if you were just to do regular bicep curls with dumbbells and just traditionally stop right at like 90 degrees or a little bit past that. When we get that 90-degree curl in there, but also raise the elbow, we can get a little bit more elbow flexion as well. And again, that rising of the elbows is gonna involve your bicep much more because of the fact that the bicep is involved in shoulder flexion. And so this third exercise is another tricep exercise, much like the first one, where we're trading the cable machine out for a band. So this one you guys can definitely do at home, much like the first one. And what we're doing is putting our arm into flexion, much like the dumbbell elevated elbow bicep curls that I just went over. But now we're gonna target that tricep in the shoulder flexed position. What that's gonna do is obviously it's gonna engage your tricep, much like the other tricep exercise where at the bottom we're going to shoulder extension, but we're going to flexion now, so it's gonna feel a little bit different. You're still gonna target the long head and the other heads of the tricep, but it's gonna target and engage your tricep at a different angle. What you guys wanna do with this exercise is watch your elbows. You don't want your elbows to travel forward and have your arms start to drop down in front of you. What you're gonna do then is start to involve a little bit more of your chest and your shoulder muscles. You wanna really isolate that tricep, so keep your elbows in a fixed position, like you're trying to squeeze your head, go into elbow extension, squeeze that tricep at the end, get that full elbow extension always during a tricep exercise. Keep that shoulder, keep those elbows tight and in that flex position. You're not trying to move anything from your shoulder to your elbow. You're just focusing on staying in that position and extending that elbow. And I promise you guys, if you do that paired with those other 2 exercises, that tricep's gonna start to feel really good and really full. now where your muscles are feeling good, they're feeling full, there's a lot of blood rushing through them, and there's a lot of engagement, a little bit of fatigue's about to start setting in, and it's gonna get you ready for the last exercise, which is another bicep exercise. Now this exercise is a classic. It's used throughout the strength community, through the bodybuilding community. It is incline dumbbell bicep curls. Again, can be done at home. All you guys need is a bench that you can put on an incline or some sort of chair or stability ball that you guys can angle so that you are on an incline. The purpose of this exercise, and to break it down so it's not too scientific, is we're sending our biceps into a stretch reflex, right? So when you stretch out a muscle, it's actually showing that it contracts to try and pull your muscle out of that stretch position because the body almost senses that it's in danger and doesn't want you to overstretch the muscle. So when I'm on that incline and I'm dropping my arms down, as you guys can see in the clip, you guys can see that my bicep at the bottom starts to look super tight and super stretched. And then as I come up, I'm using that stretch reflex to my advantage, and I'm getting more muscle engagement not only at the top of the exercise, where we traditionally curl and squeeze, but also at the bottom of the exercise. As you guys may know, when you're doing a typical dumbbell bicep curl, usually at the bottom you have the least amount of tension, right? Because your arms are just kind of hanging by your side and you're just holding onto the weights. If you guys do it this way, you're kind of switching that around, where at the bottom of the exercise, you're also gonna have a lot of tension because you're getting that stretch involved, you're getting that bicep stretched out, and as you come up, you're also fighting through that stretch and you're going into another concentric squeeze of the muscle. So you're working at the top and you're also working at the bottom, which is a little bit different than your traditional bicep curl. And that is why I love this exercise. I personally do this exercise in almost all of my bicep arm workouts. The incline curl is a classic. It's just great to stretch the muscle, get the blood flowing, get the muscle stretched out, and you get a really good engagement of the muscle throughout the entire portion of it. And it's one that I feel like I'm really connected to mentally whenever I'm doing it, and it's one you can't really clock out of or mentally, zone out of, because of the fact that you are engaging the muscle almost throughout the entire movement. So guys, those are my 4 favorite tricep and bicep exercises, 2 and 2. If you guys like this video, comment down below, like, subscribe. Everything helps me grow, everything helps me stay encouraged to keep making content, although I have said before and gonna continue to say, I'm gonna keep dropping this content because it's what I love to do. But again, anything, subscribe, like, everything is appreciated. Thank you guys so much for watching, especially if you made it to the end of the video. I appreciate that. Thank you for watching to the end. I have another one coming soon. So you guys, take it easy, and again, thanks for watching.